Hello everyone and welcome to the F1 Corner preview of the Sakhir Grand Prix. The last race was only last week, yet a lot happened in those few days. The big news of the moment, obviously, George Russell replacing Lewis Hamilton, who caught COVID-19, but also the debut of Jack Aitken in Formula One for Williams, debut of Pietro Fittipaldi for Haas, replacing Romain Grosjean after his crash on last Sunday's race. The two new drivers at Haas, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin for 2021. The fight for third in the championship also at stakes this weekend, so plenty to talk about. Doing this today from home because by the time the press conference were finished, it was actually pretty dark outside and it's probably raining right now. So you'll have to deal with my living room for today. So before we start on our main topics, remember to hit the like button and to subscribe. So let's start with, the big news of George Russell going to Mercedes. Big opportunity for the British driver. He's replacing Lewis Hamilton, who actually got tested positive with COVID-19. So he will miss this weekend, and unless he is tested negative on Monday, will also miss the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But let's not speculate. Huge opportunity for George Russell stepping in for Lewis Hamilton. Now is the time to prove what he's worth. Nobody expects anything from him, but if he can deliver a good result, which means a podium or even the top 6 would be very good considering everything that's happening right now. He would really show off, and with that, the pressure also falls on Valtteri Bottas, who needs to perform, and he is aware of it. He mentioned it. Bottas aware that he needs to beat George Russell, basically, because Bottas has been in that Mercedes for the last 4 years and has known this 2020 car since the very beginning. While George Russell never ran in it, he got his first time seating in that car today or this week. So Bottas pressure on for him, but this is a chance for Russell to, first get his very first Formula One points in his career, which, in all fairness, should happen unless there's really something bad happening to his car. And, maybe he will finally end his streak of never being out-qualified. If Bottas qualifies in front of George Russell, it means that the streak will end at 36 for the British driver. But it's going to be exciting to watch. I think we're all a bit thrilled to see that. Sad to see that Lewis Hamilton will not be there, obviously, but just excited to have a young driver with only a second year in Formula One who in that championship winning car. And obviously, since George Russell moves from Williams to Mercedes for this weekend, it also means that Williams needed the replacement, and they are taking Jack Aitken, who is their current reserve driver, a race winner in Formula 2. He knows that Williams, he ran in it during a few practice sessions, so he will make his debut, and there's no pressure really on him. Williams pretty much doomed to finish at the back of the grid anyway this year. It's going to be a good learning experience for the young driver, and Nicolas Latifi will also have an opportunity to end his streak of always being out-qualified by a teammate. So it's going to be fun to watch. 2 rookies for Williams, and let's see what they can deliver. Also on the driver switch side, we have to talk about Haas. Romain Grosjean, after his terrible crash on Sunday, finally got out of hospital on Tuesday, and Thursday before the press conference, he met with his team, with everyone, with the marshals who also helped save his life, and he's just really glad to be there. Sent support message also to his fans all throughout the week, and will sit out this week in Bahrain. Not sure if he will be back for Abu Dhabi. That's all up to him. Of course, the team principal, the whole team would like to see him in the car to end his career, or at least this season in Formula One, on a high, not with this crash. But if he's not ready physically or mentally, he will not risk his life for something so unimportant as a Formula One race. So replacing him this weekend, Pietro Fittipaldi, been the reserve driver for Haas for the last couple of years. He ran once or twice in that car, but no real Formula One experience for quite a while, so it's going to be a big step to climb, but must start somewhere. He is the grandson of Emerson Fittipaldi, legendary Formula One driver. And again, just like Jack Aitken at Williams, will start learning the ropes and see what he can do. I mean, if he surprises, he could very well get drive an F1 eventually. And still on the Haas subject, their driver lineup for next year, 2021, has been announced. We're gonna have, sitting at Haas, Mick Schumacher, potential Formula 2 winner depending on the outcome of this week's race, and son of Formula 1 champion Michael Schumacher. Mick is not as young as Verstappen or Charles Leclerc or George Russell when they got into Formula 1, but he's won the Formula 3 championship. It's now his second year in Formula 2, been learning the ropes, en route to winning the championship this year. And even if not necessarily as fast as the other young drivers that I mentioned, he proved that he can learn, and maybe just like his father become world champion, he will have his chance to prove what he's worth and that he can make a difference in Formula 1. And we're bringing back the Schumacher name in F1, which is also pretty cool. And Nikita Mazepin, son of a billionaire, Russian billionaire. Here we have to wonder, is money the factor that brought him there instead of Callum Ilott, who is also in contention for the Formula 2 championship? Well, possibly. Haas is a small team. They don't have as much money as the big Mercedes and Ferraris, and also all the 2020 economic impact of COVID-19 is affecting the small team more than the others. So bringing money home for Haas is probably a priority, at least for next season. But we can still be surprised. That I'm not saying that Nikita Mazepin is a bad driver. We'll see again with Mick Schumacher what he's worth. But for Haas, it means that in 2021 it's going to be a challenge because they will have 2 rookie drivers, and it means that they won't be able to give the same feedback as Grosjean or Magnussen to the engineers. So it's going to be even more important for the team itself, for the engineers, for the mechanics, to analyze the data and themselves give some feedback on how to improve for those drivers. Because when you are an experienced driver like Kevin Magnussen, if you're out of pace, you see it pretty quickly. But now these 2 young men, Schumacher and Mazepin, won't have any benchmark to compare themselves to. So it's going to be interesting to watch. We'll talk about it again as we get closer to the 2021 season. But now we know who's going to drive for Haas, meaning that there are only 2 unconfirmed seats. Second seat at Red Bull and also at Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton did not sign just yet. Let's talk a little bit about the midfield now. After the race in the proper Bahrain Grand Prix last week, McLaren took 3rd place in the championship with a double point finish, 4th and 5th, and Racing Point, scoring 0, fell in 4th place. Currently, McLaren holds the advantage for third with 17 points. Racing points still in front of Renault. And Renault, yeah, also trying to make up some ground, but had an average race also last week. Ferrari now pretty much out of it with only 1 meager point last week. McLaren admitting that it will be tough because this new configuration of the Bahrain circuit, which is pretty much straight lines with a few corners, is gonna privilege people with a powerful power unit. So we know the Mercedes engine is the best on the grid right now, so Mercedes engine car will have probably the advantage. Max Verstappen at Red Bull saying that even if Lewis Hamilton is not there, he's not expecting to win because of that factor. So it's going to be good for Mercedes, going to be good for Racing Point for that third place in the championship. They have the Mercedes power unit, while Renault has been renowned to have a less powerful one, probably behind Ferrari, though we can argue on that for this season. So McLaren Renault don't expect to be in front of that midfield, but again, we don't know. It's going to be intriguing. And Renault also confirming that for the post-season testing after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Fernando Alonso will be running in that car. Usually this testing is for the young driver as per the definition of the test program, but thanks to various gray areas in the regulation and the openness of the FIA, they are allowing Fernando Alonso, who will be back with Renault in 2021, to run some testing along with Guan Yu Zhou, the Chinese driver, who is also the current Renault spare driver, to gain back some experience. Alonso, who's coming back, only ran 100 km in that 2020 Formula 1, which according to him is obviously not enough to get back in shape. Alonso been out of Formula 1 now for 2 years, so those cars are feeling different in 2 years. Everything evolves so fast in Formula 1. So it's a good thing. We'll have to get back some experience. Other teams criticizing that, but it could also be a good thing. It means that the door is open even for other teams who are bringing older driver to their side to also get into testing, even though it should be only young drivers. What other team do we have? Red Bulls mentioned it. Max Verstappen not really expected to win this week because it's going to be a power unit race. Alex Albon got a podium last week thanks to Sergio Perez's misfortune. Still is not confirmed for 2021 and needs to put on a good show this week. And last week, honestly, it was a bit disappointing too. Even though Max Verstappen did one extra pit stop, he was still 30 seconds ahead of Albon before the last safety car. And Perez just kept him at bay in front of Albon until he retired. Who do we have? AlphaTauri, not much to say. Daniel Kvyat savoring his last few races, or what we think will be his last few races, since it's pretty sure that Yuki Tsunoda, Japanese driver, will be with AlphaTauri next season if he can just confirm his super license. Pierre Gasly, can he still deliver another great result this week like he did last weekend? Alfa Romeo, no big news this week. They want to end this season of misery probably. Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi will do their best. And I think that's about it. We talk about everyone, I think so. Thank you everyone for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you again after the free practice session of the 2020 Sakhir Grand Prix in Bahrain. Have a good day.